Hey YouTube, today I'm going to show you how to change out your front brake pads, rotors, and your rear brake pads and rotors. Full video how to from the start to the beginning. First you want to park the car, put the knee brakes up, your hand brakes, put some wheel chocks behind the tires, and you want to break the lug nuts loose. You want to loosen them. Okay, these lug nuts, I'm using a 13/16. You want to break the lug nut loose while the tire is on the ground. Loosen it like 2 turns. If it uses a key, use the key, and then you want to jack it up. Safe spot right there, the pinch well, and put a jack stand. I already broke these loose. Just gotta take off the key, this one here, and then I'm gonna jack it up with my jack stand. Okay, so I took off the tire, and this is your caliper bracket, your rotor. You want to take off these 2 bolts here, 2 14mm, one here that holds the caliper on. It screws onto the caliper bracket, and one here, 14mm. This is it right here. I already loosened it. It's kind of windy, so you're gonna hear a lot of wind in the background. Just take out righty tighty, lefty loosey. One and one here. And then you just get it like a screwdriver or a pry bar. And you pry this caliper out like this. And you don't want it to hang, just put it on top here, or get a wire or a bungee cord and tie it up here. Okay, so this is the rotor. The rotor is not that bad, as you can see. If you pass your nail up and down on it, you don't want to feel like deep grooves. But the inside is, as you can see, this side is thicker, the inside is thinner. So I'm gonna change it out. This is the brake pads. You just pull the brake pads out. Have my caliper on top there. Just pull the brake pads like this. Brake pads isn't that bad too, as you can see. That's the line inside. If you don't see this line anymore, I mean your brake pads is low. Also, if you have to push your brake pedal all the way down, that's the indication of your brake pedal, your brakes is low, or your brakes fluid is low. And this is the brake wear indicator. So if you get your new one, you just put some lube on it and just put it back like this. But I'm gonna change the rotor also. So this is the, also check your guide pins. As you can see, this, it has to move back and forth like this. Put some lube on it. Okay, so there's 2 bolts holding it here, one here and one at the bottom. I'm gonna take these 2 loose. As you can see, I broke it loose, both top and bottom. It's kind of hard. Gotta break a bar with a lot of leverage. 19mm. Bottom one, just take the bottom one off too, so the bracket comes off. So once you get the bracket out, you can get the rotor off. If it's hard to come off because it's rusted on, just tap it on here and then here. Don't damage the stud, and it's gonna come off like this. New rotor is back on. You can put a lug nut to hold it in place, and you want to clean this with some brakes cleaner both sides, because there's a protective oil on it for it not to get rust. And then you put back your bracket, everything the reverse order. Okay, so I put back the bracket. Now I'm gonna put the new brake pads in. You want to clean up these area here where the brake pad rides, and put some loops on these contact points and put it back in both sides. As you can see, I put the new brake pads on both sides. This one. And you need to compress the piston back into the piston the caliper bore. I'm using a whole brake pad and a C-clamp. You just want to put it like this, set it up like this, and clamp it back in slowly. And you want to open the reservoir, brakes fluid reservoir cover, and some might spill out, so if you want you can siphon some out and slowly compress this back inside, so this piston goes back into the bore so you can fit onto the pads when you put back the caliper. Okay, so I put back the caliper, put back the 2 bolts, make it nice and tight. Okay, this is the driver's side, passenger side is the same, and you put everything back in order, reverse, and make sure you pump your brake pedal a couple of times until it gets firm before you start the car, so it pushes all back the piston, so the piston can grab onto the brake pads, and the brake pads can grab onto the rotor to hold the car in place so it won't roll back, you know, when you start it up and put it in, you know, drive or reverse. Okay, for the rear, same procedure. Take off the tire and stuff, and make sure you release your hand brakes, because you won't get off the rotor, because there's a drum brakes inside holding the rotor. 214 mm, one on top here. The bottom one, there's this linkage here, so you're gonna use a 14 mm right here to take it off. Okay, there's 2 19 mm bolts holding the bracket, also like the front. The bottom one, you need a box end wrench, because this linkage here, this arm here, control arm, is holding it, so you need like a box wrench to open it. And this bottom caliper sliding pin won't come out all the way, so you need to take off the bracket to get the whole part out like this, and also to get the rotor out. The rotor is stuck on. I'm gonna just hit it a little. There it goes. Okay, rear rotor is back on. Just put the bracket, caliper, and everything back in the reverse order. And this is the passenger side. I'm doing driver's side. Driver's side, rear is the same. It's very simple. Put everything back together and pump your brakes until it gets firm. Very easy to do. Okay, so I put the bracket back on. Caliper is here. Inside brakes. Gonna put the on the brakes, brake pad like this. Okay, so the brake pad is back on. You just got to compress the piston like I showed you. Put it back, make it nice and tight. Put some lube on the contact points of the pad.